The Resilience Revolution: How Black Women Are Redefining American Entrepreneurship. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today at this extraordinary gathering of minds and hearts. I'm truly honored to stand before you in this space where ideas that can transform our world take flight. Recently, I had the privilege of interviewing the remarkable Evita Reese, a visionary whose groundbreaking work in entrepreneurship development has fundamentally altered how we understand business creation in America. Evita isn't just a researcher or advocate, she's a revolutionary thinker whose data driven insights have illuminated pathways previously hidden from view, especially for communities historically pushed to the economic margins. Her unwavering commitment to truth telling has made her one of the most important voices of our time, challenging conventional wisdom and revealing the extraordinary resilience that flourishes in unexpected places. Through her work, thousands of entrepreneurs who might have remained invisible have found recognition, support, and the validation they deserve. Today, I want to share with you some profound insights from our conversation. Insights that will challenge everything you think you know about who's driving innovation in our economy. We've all heard the familiar narrative about Black women in America's economy, haven't we? It's a story of vulnerability, of disproportionate impact during downturns, of being the first fired and last hired. And yes, there's truth there, painful truth that deserves acknowledgement. But what if I told you that narrative is dramatically, fundamentally incomplete? What if I told you that right now, at this very moment, Black women are actually leading America's entrepreneurship revolution? That despite experiencing the largest job losses in recent economic shifts, Black women are starting businesses at higher rates than any other demographic group in the country? This isn't wishful thinking. This isn't an inspirational platitude. This is documented reality. According to Gusto's 2025 new business formation report that Evita shared with me, nearly half, 49%, of all new businesses launched last year were started by women. And driving this surge, Black and AAPI women. Let that sink in for a moment. The very group that conventional wisdom positions as most economically vulnerable is simultaneously the group most actively creating new economic opportunities, not just for themselves, but for their communities and our nation as a whole. This represents a profound contradiction to how we typically frame economic agency and resilience. It challenges us to reconsider who we view as economic leaders and innovators. And it invites us to ask, what else might we be missing when we look at our economic landscape through outdated lenses? As Avita explained during our conversation, this trend isn't happening despite the challenges Black women face. In many ways, it's happening because of them. Consider this sobering statistic. In April 2025 alone, over 100,000 jobs held by Black women disappeared, even as overall employment grew nationally. Many of these losses were connected to policy shifts that disproportionately affected federal workers, a sector where Black women have historically found greater opportunity and equity than in private industry. The conventional response to this kind of data is concern, even alarm. And yes, these job losses represent real hardship for real people. They reflect systemic inequities that demand attention and correction. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Rather than simply absorbing these losses, many of these women pivoted towards self employment. They transformed adversity into opportunity by launching consulting firms or service based micro businesses tailored to their expertise. Years spent advancing careers within government agencies provided skills that translated remarkably well into entrepreneurship when layoffs struck unexpectedly. This isn't just adaptation, this is transformation, this is revolution. I think of Janelle, a former federal budget analyst who lost her position after 12 years of service. Within 3 months, she had launched a financial consulting firm helping small businesses navigate government contracts, the very process she had overseen from the other side. Today, she employs 5 people and serves clients across 3 states. Or consider Maya, who worked in public health administration until her department was restructured. She leveraged her expertise to create a wellness consultancy focused on underserved communities, communities she had previously served through government programs. Her business now partners with community centers in neighborhoods where traditional health services have been cut. These stories aren't anomalies. They represent a pattern that's reshaping our economic landscape and is happening across sectors. Vita shared with me that the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor found that for the first time ever in tech startups, the ICT sector, there's near parity between men and women founders. The gap is now just 1% apart, with significant participation from young Black entrepreneurs. In a historically male dominated space with little initial access or mentorship available for minority founders, this represents nothing short of a seismic shift in who gets to shape our technological future. How did this happen? Through intentional intervention and community investment, mentorship programs targeting young minorities, increased focus on STEM education initiatives tailored toward girls from underrepresented backgrounds, grassroots organizations investing heavily in coding boot camps and scholarships, targeting high potential youth in the post pandemic landscape. The result? Record numbers of venture backed startups with diverse leadership teams emerged between 2023 and 2025. The first wave has already seen multiple multi-million dollar exits led by teams including young African American female CTOs and founders. This accelerated closing of the gap inspires even greater participation from the next generation and signals real change ahead industry wide. I'm thinking of Tiana, who at 26 launched a health tech platform that uses AI to address maternal health disparities in communities of color. Her company raised $8 million in Series A funding last year and has already partnered with 3 major hospital systems. When asked about her journey, Tiana points to a coding program specifically designed for young women of color that she attended at 19, a program that showed her possibilities she hadn't previously imagined for herself. Now, I want to be very clear about something. This isn't a feel good story about individual triumph over adversity, though there are certainly elements of that. This is about recognizing a profound structural shift in how business creation happens in America, who leads it, and what that means for all of us. When we look closely at the data Evita has compiled, 3 key insights emerge. First, Black women are not just surviving economic shifts, they are leading new business creation in America, fundamentally reshaping what entrepreneurship looks like today. Second, even as traditional employment opportunities shrink due to policy changes and systemic barriers, Black women's optimism and confidence in their entrepreneurial abilities remain strong drivers for change. And third, the tech gender gap is narrowing. More Black women than ever are entering technology sectors as founders. signaling a future where representation and opportunity is expanding rapidly for us all. But these shifts didn't happen in a vacuum. They happened because of specific strategies that turned challenges into catalysts. Many of these entrepreneurs leveraged networks within community services, healthcare, social assistance, where demand was high and support systems were stronger. They created dozens of successful small enterprises across consulting, coaching, wellness services, even during turbulent economic times. Their adaptability inspired others facing similar challenges nationwide. And collectively, they're redefining American small business culture, making it more inclusive and representative than ever before. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter beyond the communities directly involved? Why should everyone in this room care about this particular entrepreneurial revolution? The answer is simple but profound because it fundamentally changes how we should think about economic resilience, innovation, and opportunity in America. For decades, we've operated under certain assumptions about who drives economic growth, who creates businesses, who leads innovation. These assumptions have shaped policy, investment, education, and opportunity structures throughout our society. But what if those assumptions were incomplete at best and harmful at worst? What if by overlooking the entrepreneurial potential and leadership of Black women, we've been missing a crucial engine of economic growth and innovation? What if the very communities we've often positioned as needing economic intervention are actually leading economic transformation when given even the smallest opportunity to do so? This isn't just about correcting our understanding, it's about reimagining our approach to economic development, investment, and policy. It's about recognizing that resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward into new possibilities. It's about understanding that sometimes the greatest innovations come not from abundance, but from necessity, from having to create what doesn't yet exist. And it's about acknowledging that when we expand who gets to participate in creating our economic future, we all benefit from the broader range of solutions, perspectives, and possibilities that emerge. Despite these remarkable trends, systemic barriers persist. Access to funding remains a critical challenge. Black women founders still receive less than 1% of venture capital, even as they create businesses at record rates. Limited representation in certain industries creates additional hurdles, and the very policies that led to disproportionate job losses continue to shape economic opportunity. So I ask you today, what will you do with this knowledge? How will you participate in this revolution? If you're an investor, will you have the courage to examine the biases in your funding decisions and recognize the massive opportunity cost of overlooking these high potential founders? If you're a policymaker, will you create structures that support rather than hinder this entrepreneurial energy? If you're an educator, will you double down on programs that successfully prepare young women of color for leadership in high growth sectors? And if you're an entrepreneur yourself, especially if you faced barriers similar to those I've described today, will you recognize your own role in this revolution? Will you see that your persistence isn't just about personal success, but about transforming what's possible for everyone who comes after you? The data is clear, the revolution is happening. The only question is whether we will have the wisdom to support it, to learn from it, and to let it transform not just our economy, but our understanding of who leads, who innovates, who creates. I challenge each of you to take one concrete action this week to support, amplify, or participate in this entrepreneurial revolution. Because when we expand our vision of who gets to shape our economic future, we don't just create more opportunities for some, we create better solutions for all. Thank you.